Okay, this is a movie review, Dog Eat Dog. This movie was released in 2016. It's directed by Paul Schrader, who's also responsible for the screenplay. Paul Schrader, of course, has a good pedigree in terms of writing material for movies. The one that immediately hits you is Taxi Driver, and there are a number of others that I won't mention just at the moment. He's also dabbled in directing, and I would recommend Affliction as his best, although recent efforts have not been well received. But here he is, 2006. This movie is basically about three ex-cons who employed by a mafioso guy to kidnap another mafioso's baby. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? And the lead characters in this movie are Nicolas Cage. He plays Troy, and he's the leader as such. William Defoe plays Mad Dog. He's a sort of talkative, mercurial sort of guy, very violent. And then the huge Diesel, played by Christopher Matthew Cook. And I've read a brief review. It says it's worth watching, but it could have been better. Basically what they're going to try and do is they're going to kidnap this baby and carry out a ransom, I guess. Don't need to know any more about this. Let's get on with it. It's a sort of slow burner, this movie. Initially it just comes across as three ex-cons who have various degrees of the chaos in their lives. Their personalities are all damaged, broken up. They're finding it difficult to cope on the outside, and they gravitate to others, which creates a constant stress within their lives. We witnessed Mad Dog early on, and his low threshold leads to him murdering two women, mainly because he can't accept that he can't do what he wants in somebody else's house. We then see them individually and collectively, and basically what we're getting is a sort of character profile of this varying degrees of derangement. I saw a little bit of Tarantino in the work early on, this sort of crazy sort of lifestyle, and always heavily on the edge or consumed by crime, whether it be drugs, whether it be prostitution. I'm not quite sure really what to make of the film, to be early on it. The acting is pretty good. I like Mad Dog, played by Defoe, who is clearly deranged. Troy, that's Cage's character, is a sort of an intelligent guy who basically wants to sort of leave this shit behind, get into sort of a more sophisticated lifestyle, appreciative of the arts and culture and travel, etc., etc. But he's clearly continuing with one foot in a jail cell. And the other guy, the big guy, he goes with some cool girl and can't handle it. He can't handle the gentle quick Q&A from her, and that leads to her fleeing in fear, when all he wants really is to get his rocks off, and can't acknowledge anybody being slightly inquisitive and chatty, so to speak. I don't know where we're going to go on it. but it's not going to be in my top 5, that's for certain. But I'm trying to appreciate the acting, even though the plot is, well, there is no plot really. I guess we're leading up to the point in the movie where they're going to try and kidnap this baby. We finally hit the meeting where Troy, played by Cage, goes to meet this mob boss. Another mob guy owes him $5 million, and he's fed up with waiting and has come to the conclusion he's never going to get it. So his idea is to hire Troy and his gang to kidnap a 1-year-old child, which will be the necessary torch paper to get him up and moving, to find the cash, to get the kid back, and of course the money will be delivered to this guy. We then have a narrative by Troy, and he suggests that it's a job that ain't got much chance of succeeding, but he continues to listen. So the huge amount of money involved in this kidnap demand are attracting the 3 ex-cons to this, even though they have very little confidence in actually completing it successfully. So one wonders why they're even considering doing it, but it is a sort of movie, I guess. So we'll now get on to the what happens when of course it goes completely wrong. So with the kidnapping in full flow, we then have one of these sort of sidetrack discussions between Mad Dog and the big guy about friendships, the degree of friendships with Troy. This becomes the most important piece to sort out on their agenda of to-dos. And these sort of incidents will occur throughout, really, things that are highly irrelevant but catch the inside of people's minds. For those of you familiar with the Reservoir Dogs, the fact that in that particular movie, whilst they're waiting for the dough, so to speak, all hell lays loose, and by the end of the movie there's no one left to receive the benefits. Well, this script follows a similar sort of hazardous path, as the 3 of them, 2 with the baby and nanny, and Troy back at the house to pass on the demands, ransom demands. The time isn't spelt constructively, and things start to happen. I won't explain it to you because it'll spoil your movie. Earlier in the film, Troy goes through a series of issues where he connects himself with Humphrey Bogart in terms of how similar he is to Bogart in terms of his looks, his body shape, his verbal delivery. Anyway, towards the end of this film, where he managed to wriggle free after being confronted by a police officer in the car park whilst the big man goes to get some things in the shop. Anyway, he's now with this young couple who he's well, not young, elderly couple who he's latched onto to get a lift, and he starts to do his impersonation of Bogart's character, which I find quite amusing.